My name is Ananda Kate, and I'm so grateful for being here today. Thank you for having me. I'm going to be sharing a talk about how to harness your empathic power today. And we're going to go through a few steps on exactly what that means, how energy moves through the body, as well as different practices that we can also bring into our life to harness the empathic power as well. So before I begin, I'm just going to pull a card, which is what I usually do, because when I channel, I speak, I want to be channeling spirit through me. So when I share, I usually don't share from my intellect. I try to share from spirit. So today, before we begin, I'd like to just pull a card for everybody who is here, and just see what message comes through for everyone who is watching this video now or later as well. And today I'm going to be using the Goddess cards, which is an oracle deck that I designed. And you can find it on Etsy as well, which is in the comments. So let's just close our eyes and take a deep breath in and out. I'm just calling in any messages that we need to hear today, Spirit, from the goddess archetype, all these beautiful women. And the card that came up is faith. Faith. So the prayer poem today is, I trust fully in the process of life to take care of me. I will not be angry with myself, for this is not needed along the path of transformation. So beautiful message today that we can fully trust in whatever process we're currently in life, and that we don't need to push or force ourselves to be perfect. And that's definitely not what this talk is about. It's just about being more authentic with ourselves. And really, when we are empaths, we have to learn to be more authentic. It's not something that comes naturally to empaths, because we are constantly trained as children to tap into other people's emotions. So if you are an empath, it's psychologically because you probably grew up with parents or someone in your life that was there very regularly that had their emotions go up and down a lot. And so as children, we tap into their emotions to see how the day is going to go. And if they were aggressive or they had meltdowns or something like that with their emotions on a day-to-day basis, or one day they were super happy, one day they were super sad, one moment they were super happy, one moment they were super sad, it was very just inconsistent. We're tapping into their emotions to see how we need to be in order to survive. And so as we grow up, we actually take that with us, and we constantly are checking in with other people and how they're feeling. And then that dictates how we're going to feel, right? Well, the most important thing is awareness, right? Because the first path of spiritual awakening is awareness. And when we gain awareness, we gain power, because now we understand, okay, I'm checking in with other people's emotions in order to dictate what my emotions are, right? So now I get to choose the opposite. I get to choose, okay, how am I feeling inside, right? So that's a little bit of insight into what empaths actually are, right? It's not necessarily this trendy thing that everybody says, well, I'm an empath and I can feel other people's emotions. Yes, you can feel other people's emotions, but are you actually connected and rooted to your own energy? This is the most important thing in life, because when we know our own energetic signature and we know how it shifts and changes with every moment and every day, then we get to be rooted in that energy, and that's the energy that is dictating our thoughts, our emotions, and our actions throughout the day. So we want to gain that tool and practice and strengthen that muscle to go inwards and see what our emotions are every single day without reacting to, okay, this person's feeling that way, that person's feeling this way. And we're constantly bombarded by emotions of other people, and we never get to just root and be at peace within ourselves. Okay, I'm going to go more into that in a little bit here, but before I do that, I want to go into what is called entrainment. And this is something that we talk a lot about in Reiki, okay? That's my number one full-time gig, you can say, is teaching people Reiki, and I've been doing it for 8 years. And Reiki guides me to where I need to be. It is a spirit guide for me, but mainly it's worked its way through me to teach others how energy flows through the body and how we can help our own energy root and ground in order to be a channel for other people. So the number one thing in Reiki, which is an energetic modality, healing modality, is that we understand the idea of entrainment. So entrainment is spelled ENTRAINMENT. And it's when we are open as a receiver, and as humans, we come with a lot of baggage, right? Because we're picking up a lot of different emotions along the way, a lot of different energies along the way. Every single day we're changing, and we also hold past trauma within our bodies. We also hold ancestral trauma and generational trauma as well. So a lot of the energy that we hold within us, we actually don't understand because it's not necessarily ours, okay? And it doesn't necessarily mean that energy is bad or good. This is really important as well, okay? Energy is not bad, energy is not good. Energy is just energy, okay? It can be amplified and it can be a low vibration, but it doesn't mean it's good or bad, okay? And it can also be very strong. And if it's strong, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's high vibration. So there's a lot of things that you can learn about energy that, our mind tries to analyze, but it doesn't necessarily make sense to us. And the universe doesn't owe us anything, so it doesn't owe us to understand it. So we just have to be open to surrendering, to witnessing energy, and just allowing it to be what it is. So back to entrainment. Entrainment is when a higher vibration is moving in to the body in order for a lower vibration to rise. Okay? Now, when Reiki takes place, or an energetic healing modality, and I work with Reiki because Reiki is about channeling universal energy and source, a very specific high vibration will move in to communicate with a very specific low vibration in order for an equation to happen, a physics equation to happen, where this lower vibration will come up to that higher vibration and meet it. Okay, so entrainment came from a study where pendulum clocks were placed in a room, and at some point they all synced up to one clock. Okay, and that clock that was swinging back and forth was pulling in the rhythm of the other clocks. And then they all synced up and started to sway back and forth at the exact same time. And they did that for a little bit, and then they would go off on their own frequency again, and then they would come back to another clock pulling them in at a strong vibration, and they would all sync up. And this is what this physics equation is teaching us of entrainment, that a very specific high frequency moves in order for a lower vibration to come up to that frequency and swing and oscillate together, just swinging in entrainment, right? And this is what we call the bliss point in Reiki. When we can meet here and swing back and forth, right? And we see entrainment all around us, okay? But the main thing that we see it in is women's menstrual cycles, right? and our menstrual cycles sync up when we are around each other. But one cycle will be syncing up to a stronger cycle. Okay, so someone has the stronger vibration, the higher vibration, and it is pulling the other cycle to go into entrainment together, and then we sync up together, and then we'll go off on our other cycles again. But for that moment in time, we are synced. And in Reiki, when this happens, our vibration is synced to spirit. And so this is when we get a full circle healing moment or a bliss point moment where we just are in the beauty of energy, and we're not thinking about it, we're not analyzing it, we're not trying to fix it. We are just in the beauty of energy, of that bliss point. And entrainment also teaches us that it is scientifically impossible for a higher vibration to come down to a lower vibration. Okay? So, if a higher vibration is in the room, scientifically, energy will always come up towards the higher vibration. It doesn't mean that they will sync up. It just means that the lower vibration will lift towards the higher vibration. So as empaths, if we enter into a room full of people, okay, and we notice that there might be a lower vibration. So I've walked into a room, I'm feeling really good. I did my meditation this morning. I've done all my resourcing, which is what I'll talk about as well in this chat. And I feel really like my vibration feels strong. I feel rooted in my energy. I feel good. But I notice that there are other frequencies in the room that are a little bit lower. And maybe somebody's in the room who's grieving or doesn't feel well. They're not necessarily communicating with me, but I can feel their energy. So that part is true. That is what an empath is. So if scientifically a higher vibration cannot come down to a lower vibration naturally, what is happening, do you think, when we walk into a room full of people and we're feeling a high vibration within us, but there's low vibration in the room, and then we come down to that lower vibration? If it is scientifically impossible for that to happen, what do you think's happening? Right? It's really interesting that as empaths we say, well, I just take on other people's emotions so that it is what it is, right? Well, that's not true, because scientifically that's impossible. And energy doesn't communicate that way. We know this. So what's happening, and this is what I ask all my students, what do you think's happening? And what's happening here is that your mind is involved, right? So you're feeling the energy in the room, which is, yes, you are feeling that. That is real. You notice that, okay? Because you're tapping into other people's energy and you're noticing it. But your mind is telling you, oh, there's a lower vibration in the room, so I'm going to send lower vibration communication to my cells and to my body to come down to that frequency in order to communicate with that person, right? Because we are taught that in order to communicate with people, we have to be in their energy. We have to commiserate with them. We have to be so compassionate with them that we get into their energy and we begin to kind of fester in this lower vibration. And the reason why we do that is because our number one primal need is to fit in, right? This is a tribal primal need. If we are not fitting in with the tribe, we get ostracized on the outside of the tribe and we become vulnerable. So society, generationally, primally, we have been taught to come down to that lower vibration in order to fit in order to be accepted, and in order to communicate. So how do we counteract this? How do we take back the control of this in order to still be compassionate, in order to be the lighthouse for others, but really to root into our own energy and still be the lighthouse for others? Well, what I teach my students is to do some resourcing. Okay, so we call it resourcing. And resourcing is when you are fully embodied, you're grounded in your own energy. And in order to do this, we have to wake up every single morning and check in with our energy. And in yoga, this is called a sadhana practice, sadhana, and that's Sanskrit for morning yogic philosophy practice, okay? And it requires a little bit of masculine energy because it's going to get you to your mat, okay? In the morning, devotional practice, the first thing you do is you go to your mat and you close your eyes and you just start to check in with the energy in your body. How am I feeling in my heart? I might do a little bit of connection here with my hands. How am I feeling in my heart? How am I feeling in my diaphragm? What emotions need to be processed here? And without trying to fix it, suppress it, draw a story to it, analyze it, any of that, you just allow those emotions to be as they are, and then you allow them to guide you to what they need. So this is also, if you're learning about the inner child is the subconscious. So we're asking the inner child and the energy in our body, how are you feeling today? What do you need from me in order to feel really loved and really supported? And then we are guided down the path towards what that is, okay? So that could be shaking, that could be dancing, that could be singing, that could be pulling oracle cards, that could be journaling, that could be rebounding, exercising. It could be just curling up in a ball and crying for 20 minutes. Like, it doesn't matter. But what is the energy inside you, your energetic signature telling you? And your energetic signature is just like your thumbprint, okay? It is part of the whole, but it is unique to who you are. It is the universe showing up through you in a very unique way in order to experience itself. Okay, so I'll say that again. You are the universe coming to life to experience itself through you in a very unique way. It's not going to be like anybody else. So what does that feel like? And how does it express itself through you every single day at every moment? So a lot of the different practices that I like to do, and the first thing that I do is sensory touch, a somatic therapeutic release, which is all about connecting to the body in the different chakra areas. And first I start with the heart chakra, because the heart chakra is rooted in both masculine and feminine energy. And it can actually shift and balance all the other chakras in the body, okay? Because it has both masculine and feminine energy. The lower three chakras are rooted in masculine energy, and the higher three chakras here, the throat, the third eye, and the crown, are all rooted in feminine energy, and feminine energy is all about surrendering. Masculine energy is about doing. So we can actually work with these lower three chakras in order to get energy moving, but the heart chakra balances all of the other chakras, okay? So usually I'll start with the heart chakra and start to ask myself, what am I holding here today? And what does it look like? And I'm just being the observer. I'm not engaging in the story or the energy. I'm just breathing and allowing, and I'll always go take a deep breath here and use the vowel ah, which is the vowel of the heart chakra. Ah. Deep breath. Ah. And you can already feel that vibration moving through you, right? So when I place my hand here, it's like I'm plugging in a lamp. I'm plugging into my own energetic signature, and I'm feeling my own sense of support, and I'm becoming my own best mother and my own best father. And then I start to just move my hand here and breathe and do the same type of breath, and then moving to the throat area and just massaging gently. And then I'll move into my head and just start to move some of the energy here, right? Then I'll move down. But you move with the body and let it guide you to where you're feeling emotion and where emotion wants to rise. And if emotion is rising, it's rising to go, okay? It's not there to keep you stuck in that energy. It's not permanent. It's rising, and you're helping it to move. The only energy that we don't want is stagnant or dissonant energy, because this creates anxiety. So we want to breathe, we want to use our voice, and we want to use this resourcing not just in the morning by ourselves, but especially when we go into a group of people where we don't know the situation, we don't know them, okay? So imagine you walk into a meditation class or a yoga class and there's lots of other people in the room, and you start to feel that sense of anxiety because you don't know what's going to happen. Your subconscious is like a little child sitting there like, tell me what to do. Am I supported? Am I loved? So we wouldn't sit in that class. The first thing we wouldn't do is sit down and just wait for the teacher and look around and be external. And we especially wouldn't check in with the energy of other people. The first thing you would do is sit down on your mat and you would begin the process of resourcing, starting to touch, starting to breathe, starting to move, okay? To make sure that you are rooting into your own energetic signature and your inner child now feels very loved and very supported in that scenario. And so when you do need to open up to someone else or you do need to do something, you are much more supported and grounded. So this is really important if you're looking to harness your empathic power, supporting yourself through resourcing practices. I'll give you 2 more practices before I end my chat today. It goes by fast, 20 minutes. The second one is rebounding, is the fastest way to move energy. Rebounding, okay? So jumping up and down off the floor, or taking the arms up and swinging them down and up. So this type of rebounding. And then the third one would be a somatic breath practice where we can use breath of fire. Right? And then the fourth one would be tapping and going to places in the body where you actually feel stagnant energy needing to release, okay? So these are all the practices that you can use to start harnessing your empathic power. You have the awareness, so you can integrate these practices now. And the more you do them, integration is the second path of spiritual awareness, spiritual awakening. You will go into the third path, which is called self-actualization, which is when you integrate something so much that you don't need to necessarily think about it anymore. It's just a part of who you are naturally. Okay, so this is all about unwinding your belief systems, unlearning your belief systems so that you can support yourself better, make different choices. And when you can root into your energy more and more and more, the more you're actually going to understand what your energetic signature feels like, and you're going to be able to come back there faster. This is not about being in that energy all the time because you're going to get swayed out of it, but it's about how fast can you come back to that energetic signature and that natural energetic signature when it's really loved and really supported. And you're feeling really like yourself. The more liberated and the more free you can be to be yourself, the more empowered you will be. Okay? So I'm going to end my chat there today. Thank you everybody for being here. And if you would like access to the Goddess Nest Oracle cards, they're really beautiful, colorful cards that I channeled from the Goddess Archetypes. You can find them on my Etsy link below, as well as my 2 ritual books, the High Priestess, which is all about High Priestess energy and how to integrate that and become self-actualized, as well as the symbolism and the history of the High Priestess card in the tarot, and the Goddess Nest ritual book, which has a lot of guidance on how to do ritual at home. So if you're interested in that, I'll put the link to the books and the cards below. And I hope to see you soon. You can find me at Benvolin Church here in Kelowna every Wednesday from 7 to 8 to do Reiki healing and somatic healing and all that good stuff. So lots of love to all of you. Thank you, you beautiful women. I hope you're having a wonderful festival, and I will see you very soon. Namaste. Thank you.